Hey YouTube, so we're here down in the Flat Earth Chicken House. Got a few things on my mind today about the Flat Earth, and the Flat Earth Awakening and controlled opposition. So, if you're following the Flat Earth like I do, I think they just came out with Shaq O'Neal coming out saying that the Earth was flat. After the other basketball player last week, Kylie Irving, I guess, came out said the Earth was flat. And of course, neither one of them comes out with any good evidence or throws out any real proof. So they're controlled opposition, or they wouldn't be making headlines and they wouldn't be on TV if they were putting out good facts. And also, I saw one of the comments section. Somebody said that Shaq is a 33-degree Mason, which wouldn't surprise me. Now I haven't looked into that at all, but I have no reason to think that wouldn't be true. Because he's successful and he's coming out with controlled opposition. Yeah, so he comes out and he says that when he drives from Florida to L.A., it looks flat to him. Which is that's controlled opposition. That's for the normal Joe out there looking. Yeah, see that dumb basketball player. That's his proof that it's flat. That it looks flat to him. And and he says, yeah, people in China are upside down. Which, these things always irritate me. When the flat earthers say, well, are people in Australia upside down? Because, if you're trying to convince somebody who's a glober that the earth is flat, that just makes you look stupid right off the bat because you don't understand, the stupid globe model that we're supposed to learn about in school, so they don't take anything that you say seriously. Now, if you understand the stupid globe model, that space is infinite and we're just like spinning around in space around the sun, which is moving around. So there's no up and down in space. It's infinite, okay? So they say that because you're looking at a picture of a globe or a map which has the North Pole up, and the South Pole down. But if there's outer space, there's no up or down. So you can't use that as proof that it's a flat, that people are upside down in Australia, because according to them, the gravity comes from the center of the earth, and the globe is big enough, you wouldn't know if you were on Australia. Down to you would be towards the center of the earth, and up to you would be towards the sky. So please don't use that as proof of making yourself seem clever because you say people in Australia are upside down. Are people in Australia upside down? Because somebody who believes in the globe model is going to think you're retarded. So come on now, use stuff like curvature and and that water is flat, and start throwing some examples out like the salt flats down in Peru or wherever they are, Bolivia, I forget, with the big 100-mile salt flats that make a mirror, and all the stuff that can be seen that shouldn't be seen if the curvature was 8 inches per mile squared. The fact that a vacuum can't exist, next to an atmosphere. Bring some good solid proofs to the table. Don't talk about people being upside down in Australia. Or the other one I've heard a few people say, I forget which big channel, maybe it's Mark Sargent or Dubay, one of the two there, talk about the train engineer saying, well, you couldn't be going up a globe. If you're on a globe, you're never going up. Any spot you're on a globe, you're going to be going down. All right, you can't go up on a globe. So you have to understand their model if you want them to start considering our model. I got a little globe ball here I found. They push these globes everywhere. In the hardware store I found this thing. It's like a dog toy or something. All right. So, we're used to seeing the globe. They picture it like this, with the north up, and it's spinning on its axis. But if you were looking at it from another point in space, it could be like that, or like that, or like that. It's still spinning on its axis, but there's no up or down in space. Okay, and if you're standing in Africa, and you're standing on, and gravity's pulling you to the center of the earth, you're standing up. So the people on this side, you would say, would be upside down. So don't use it, because it doesn't make you look smart. It makes you look. If you're going to convince people, scientifically that we're on a flat plane, please don't say that the train is going to be going uphill. If you're anywhere on a globe, you're going down. You can't go up on a globe, all right? So don't say the train can't go uphill, and don't say people are upside down in Australia. So yeah, so they got Shaq and this basketball player coming out and acting really dumb about it. So they're scared because people are waking up to it. But the people are so dumbed down that their controlled opposition is going to be quite effective. So we got to get out there and get down in the trenches and talk to people one on one, like I do all the time. And I think people go through stages, or as I did when I first came across Globe Earth. Well, first I was saved by Jesus, and I'm never shy about that. You can't be ashamed of him, or he'll be ashamed of you in front of God. So I talk about Jesus every chance I can. But it was funny when I came to the flat Earth. It was like I was keeping it secret for a while. I still haven't told like some of my really good friends. Now I do have bumper stickers on my truck that say Flat Earth, and I've got these stickers down here in the chicken house, and so there's some people that I haven't told that I believe that the Earth is flat yet. But on the other hand, people that I'm not really close to, and I don't really care if they believe me or not. I talk about it all the time, bring it up any chance I get, and like I say, I got the bumper stickers on the truck. But like my really good friend, who I think the world of her and everything, but she's not a truther at all, and I think she has Jesus in her heart, but she hasn't really embraced Jesus. But I can't talk about her. Can't talk about any truth or stuff with her because I tried when I first woke up to the truth. I tried talking about truth stuff with her, and she was getting mad at me, She's like, oh, that's just conspiracy stuff. Don't be so gullible. So and I don't want to fight with her and say, well, she's the one that's gullible because she doesn't question anything. So I haven't said anything to her about Flat Earth, but, for a while there, I wouldn't say anything to anybody about Flat Earth. And now it's like, come on, it's time we got to wake people up. Like, Jesus wants us to spread the gospel, so I always do that. But like I've talked about before, I think they're very connected, Flat Earth, Jesus was definitely a flat earther. Yeah, so it's up to us because the controlled opposition is, they're effective to the sheeple. So you got to pick out your right people you think are open-minded, and if you don't think they're quite ready for flat Earth, start pointing out 9/11, and that's a pretty easy one to prove, or the lunar hoax. The moon landing hoax I think, is a pretty easy one to prove. So, start somewhere, and then all the dots eventually connect. Yeah, so, there's a lot of stuff on the Flat Earth channels. There's a lot of division on the Flat Earth channels, and, there's some channels I used to follow I don't follow anymore because they're kind of, and I hate when people, I have a relationship with Jesus, and I don't like it when people talk about religion, because religions belong to Satan, and I think you should have a personal relationship to Jesus. I don't belong to any denomination or go to any church or anything. So it kind of annoys me because there is some really good Jesus-centered flat Earth channels. I haven't figured out how to put links up yet. But if you guys are interested, there's a couple really good flat Earth channels. One is called Ephesians 6:12, which is, obviously the famous scripture about we don't battle against flesh and blood, but against powers and principalities. And that's not the exact verse, but if you know your Bible, you're familiar with that verse. Is Ephesians 6:12. Well, that's the name of a channel too, and he's a really good flat Earth guy. And then the other one that's really good, I've been watching some of his videos lately, is The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. And he's a really good flat Earth guy and a really good Christian guy. And he's got videos he's putting up now of people who've come to Jesus through the flat Earth, and they're pretty cool. So if you're watching this and you want to go to a couple good channels, check out Ephesians 6:12 or The Truth is Stranger Than Fiction. Those are really nice, good flat Earth channels, because I'm getting tired of some of this division on the flat Earth. Like Eric Dubay and Mark Sargent both have good information out there, and they both helped me find the flat Earth. But I'm getting kind of sick of the infighting between flat Earth channels and the knocking of what quote unquote religion. Which I like I said, I don't believe in religion. I believe in Jesus and Father God. But I know when these people are talking about religion, they're talking about like someone like me who talks about Jesus. They call me religious, even though I'm not. But but I'm who they're talking about. So I saw this one Met Beyond the Imaginary Curve, which I'm not really going to watch him anymore. But he curses a lot, which I can kind of deal with some cursing. I used to curse all the time. As long as I don't use the Lord's name in vain, I can put up with it to a certain extent. If they start using the Lord's name in vain, then that puts me right off. Obviously, I'm not going to watch that channel. But passion's all right. But it shows that they've got a long way to go before they find the real truth. You get out there and you're cursing and knocking quote unquote religion, knocking people who believe in Jesus. Well, you believe you believe in a flat Earth and with a dome over it, and how are you're going to explain that somehow besides random evolution? There's got to be a creator, you know. So yeah, I'm just gonna concentrate on the flat Earth channels that concentrate on Jesus and who talk about Jesus a lot. Because when you have the peace of the Lord, when you have the peace of Christ in your heart, you don't need to rant and rave and curse and everything. And I get passionate sometimes, but it's really not too helpful to rant and rave and curse. I mean, yeah, I can understand if you don't have the peace of the Lord in your heart, and the world is all messed up. Sure. I mean, I before I had Jesus, I knew the world was all messed up, and I used to rant and rave all the time and curse, and but once you're saved and you have Jesus in your heart, it's a lot easier to be calm and peaceful. And I still get excited. The chicken's kind of excited. So yeah, a few thoughts about flat Earth stuff. But like I get kind of irritated, like I say, when we're trying to wake people up to the flat Earth and they're talking about people being upside down in Australia. It's not helpful. But yeah, the other thing I noticed too, when I go to Google on my phone to check the weather every morning, and because I work out, I do stuff outside, and my job involves the weather and everything. But I've noticed that Google. And I'm not sure if it's just some new app or some new thing they threw at me on my phone, but they throw out these news stories or that says, you've shown interest in such and such. Well, I also noticed they're really pushing the NASA thing now. Every day it's some more NASA crap that they're throwing out there, whether it's some new mission, some new thing they discovered with the Hubble telescope, or some update from the ISS, and it's just they're just pushing the NASA stuff really hard right now. Just like they're pushing the alien stuff, they're getting ready for the big deception. But I notice every day on my, I go to the weather and I look at what the Google's showing me, what Google thinks I want to look at, and yeah, every day there's some new NASA crap they're throwing out there. Or some new controlled flat Earth opposition, because I show interest in flat Earth. Suppose says you've shown interest in the flat Earth, and yet I think that's where I saw the Shaq thing first. But I've never seen what Google shows me. I've shown interest in flat Earth, and they show me something good. It's always something stupid, So they're pushing the controlled opposition big time right now. So it's up to all of us to get down in the trenches, like I said, and go one-on-one, and don't be ashamed of it. Just have your facts ready and start pointing them out. And I do send people to Dubé and Mark Sargent as for a start, because they do have good information. But the problem with Dubé is if people aren't ready to hear about the Holocaust being not real, or and I don't really like the whole Dubé thing, because I don't like Dubé too much personally, because he's very anti-Christian. But for people who aren't Christian and who are just sheeple, he does have good information. Same with Mark Sargent with the interviews with the pilots and the engineers. And probably if I was more on top of my game and interested in it, I could go through and pick out other channels with the same information without sending people to Dubé and Sargent, which I should do, but I haven't now. Anyway, so we're getting close to 15 minutes, and I don't like to. It's easier for me to upload these things if they're less than 15 minutes. Well, there's 15 minutes right there, so I guess I'll keep going for a few minutes anyway. So yeah, we're hanging out with the chickens. Alright, well, I'm going to come back in a little while and make another video. So I'll see you guys later. You guys all have a great day, and I love you very much.